Welcome to our webinar today. We are so glad to have you here, and we're going to be talking all about how to lead profitable retreats with Arianne Traverso. We're super excited for this webinar. It's been a little while coming because we wanted to highlight the expertise of somebody who really knows how to host events and retreats, and that is definitely Arianne. So we're going to learn a lot about hosting a retreat, but also planning it, selling it, and leading it. So it's going to be really good. As you're dropping in here today, just let us know in the chat. Tell us, where are you dialing in from? And what's your ultimate retreat destination? Or maybe have you already led it? Have you already led a retreat in your ultimate destination? We would love to hear from you. So drop it in the chat as we're working through this so that we know the chat is working and so that we can hear from you. So yeah, who are you? Where's your favorite retreat destination? Or maybe you led it already. And throughout the webinar, we're going to have some freebies, some giveaways. Arianne's got some really cool ones, so make sure you stay tuned to the end. If you did need to hop off early, we will have the replay out into your inbox by later today, and we'll share all of the links that we've shared so far in the webinar as well. So don't worry about missing out on any links there. And who is Offering Tree? If you're new to Offering Tree, let me give you a little bit of an intro. We're an online software company built by wellness professionals for wellness professionals. Let us know in the chat if you want to learn more about Offering Tree. But what I'm going to tell you right now is we have everything built in the software to support retreats. You can build an endless amount of landing pages for different events that you might have going. It might be a retreat, a teacher training, a workshop, whatever it is. You can build the automations to support it, and we have payment plans available so that when your clients are booking in, if you have those big ticket items that need a kind of incremental payment, they can do that as well. It's super easy to set up in the software. And who am I? My name is Sinead. I'm part of the Offering Tree team, and I'm also a yoga teacher in Calgary, Alberta. So I get to see both sides of the coin with Offering Tree. I see what's going on in the background, and I get to use the website too. So it's pretty cool. And today we're actually co-sponsored by Be Yogi, and we're really proud to be partnering with them. So Be Yogi is an insurance provider for yoga teachers and other wellness modalities in the US, and they draw on their deep experience and advanced knowledge of the yoga world to design a yoga insurance that covers whatever style you teach, wherever you teach it, and whenever you need it. So we're really excited that they're in on this webinar today. You can learn more and get a discount on an insurance policy with Be Yogi by visiting offeringtree.com/Be Yogi, and that link is going to come in the chat shortly too. So without further ado, I'm going to slip away into the background and I'm going to hand everything over to Arianne here. So I'll just stop my screen share.
So like I was saying to myself earlier, but now to you, how to lead profitable retreats and trainings so you can grow your income, impact, and revenue without a huge audience. One of my taglines is that you can make thousands of dollars with a handful of people. And I am a true believer that we all deserve to make the money we want to impact our lives in a bigger way so that we can impact the world, whether it's your local world or international world. We have all the capabilities to do so. And here, if you see grow your income, impact, and revenue to me are a little different. And income is the money you take home, it's your profit, and revenue is the money that your business, right, has. And that's important because a lot of people will claim, oh, you can make, $20,000 in revenue, but like, let's focus on profit. That's what I like to look at. So everybody who's on that same page, we can do golf claps. All right. So I'm super excited. And here's the deal, right? I want you to grab a pen, take some notes. Let's get ready and maximize our time together. And if you have aha moments, I would love for you to tag me. So this is the only time you're allowed to go on Instagram, ari.bizcoach, so I can repost you, but also so I know that you're working versus scrolling. So even if it's take a picture of your notes and drop them into the gram, and then also follow me so that we can stay connected after this webinar. So you are in the right place. If you're a wellness pro, have been enamored at the idea of leading retreats, but not sure if you're ready, that's very real. You're looking to grow your practice and income away from more one-on-one clients and expand your revenue streams. You feel inspired to make huge shifts in your retreats, and you're not sure how it all works from start to finish. The logistics, the process, the scheduling, the sales, okay? And the planning, executing, and selling makes you want to hide. And I'll tell you, retreats are not only powerful ways to help others, and so I live in the and world versus the or but world. They can be a very important piece of a six-figure business. Okay. Trust me on this. Anytime that I've had spikes in my yearly revenue, okay, I'm talking revenue here, it's been because of the retreats, thus allowed me to have bigger profit months. Okay. So that's very important. If you guys, I'm going to mute. There you go. Okay. Goals for today's class. I want you to be the leader in your industry. Okay. Show up, shine, specialize, and you're going to do this more with high ticket programs and retreats. I'm going to present to you the opportunities to achieve your personal and financial goals quicker without the burnout. And Sinead, there's people coming in. I don't know if you're also a co-host, just so I can focus on presenting and not admitting, and show you how retreats are pillars for income injections. And also create that yes vibe to your retreat launches. Who this is not for. Those who don't want to take their business seriously. I don't think any of you are here because of that. Who aren't ready to lead. Retreats are leadership experiences. It's where you get to really show the F up. And you're just getting started in your business and you have no experience. And I'll say this, sorry, not sorry, but if you just graduated from 200-hour TT and you've been an accountant for, the last 30 years and you're like, I'm going to lead a retreat tomorrow, and you've taught 5 yoga classes, get some skin under your belt. Okay? You can still learn, but I'm just saying maybe like lead one in a year and a half. Okay. Just being honest here. I'm very transparent. And you get offended or upset when somebody gives you 60 minutes of free content and then makes you an offer, because I do have an amazing program that I want to share with you. But before that, I'm going to give you so much value that you are going to have plenty of work to walk away with. And look, I've led countless of teacher trainings, so I'll tell you a little bit more about me in a minute. I owned a studio, so I've been certifying people for over 12 years, maybe more now, actually, maybe 15 years. Okay. So I've been leading, whether it's continuing education credits or full-blown 200, 300-hour yoga teacher trainings. How long was the business part of things? 2 days. So how do we expect, right, to build a proper structured, foundationally sound, like growth-focused business in your new industry, quote unquote, with a weekend worth of training? So it's not your fault, right? Because the structure of those trainings weren't weren't created to monetize your skills, as that wasn't the main focus. Like, you're there to become a better teacher. You're there to own those skill sets. And then what do? You figure it out? No, we're not throwing spaghetti at a wall here anymore. Those days are done. Okay? So I get to teach a lot of you that's digestible in your turns with soul, and ideally some kick-ass strategy. So Sinead's going to drop a link for us. I would love for you all to get my retreat starter kit. This is a free ebook that I've created so that you all can at least get the A to Z on being profitable and purposeful. And at the end, for those of you who qualify, I have a bonus for a one-on-one coaching call. All right. So I would love for you to stay till the end. So I'm guessing that you probably entered the wellness industry for self-fulfillment and service, and not that you were like, oh my God, how am I going to get the Benjamins? How am I going to get all the money? That wasn't why I became a yoga teacher in 2005. It was because I really wanted to help people, and I was enamored with the practice. Okay?
All right, I'm gone.
Even when
Love
I,
you.
was a studio owner and all the things, it wasn't because I was like, oh yeah, this is my get rich. For that, I would have become a lawyer or an architect, but not a yoga teacher. But here's the promise. You can have a awesome freaking life doing what you love. I did it. I've been in this industry, and I'm going to stop sharing screen for a moment. I've been in the wellness industry. Like I said, I got certified to teach in 2005. So I'm old school in this world. I'm not a new teacher. And because of that, I've done the following. I became a specialist. So I was a world leading teacher. The modality that I was certified, highly certified in, was acro yoga. So partner yoga, Thai massage, acrobatics. I was one of the, like I said, top teachers in the world. So I was leading trainings, retreats, immersions, continuing education credits for acro yoga, leading classes at like Wanderlust, at the Yoga Journal conferences, so on and so forth. And then not only that, but in 2008, I led my first retreat. And it was awesome. And I'll tell you more about it in a minute. Ever since then, I'm here in Miami. So I opened one of the first studios in the Miami Design District back in 2012. And we ran it. We were one of the top studios in Miami. So that was great. We were awarded numerous awards. And then in 2016, I really wanted to focus on growing past my studio. Like I said, I had already been leading yoga retreats. I had been leading certifications, 200, 300-hour trainings. And then I decided to take up an opportunity to purchase a business called the Yoga Expo, which is the largest yoga trade show in the United States. So I'm the proud owner of the show. And we just had our two events, some of our biggest events in Los Angeles and here in South Florida, with over 2,000 participants. So you guys are in the right place. Like, I know how to fill things. I know how to lead events. And I also know the wellness industry inside and out. Okay. So let's go back to the slides. I'm also a mom. I want to share that. I have a 4-year-old and a beautiful husband. So I'm not all business. Hold on. I shared the wrong. Hold on. Pause share, stop share. I want to share the right. Okay, here we go. All right, let me go back to our slides. All right, so let's keep going. So I want you to imagine how you can change more lives while making more money. You can show up as a leader, right? An energy-rich soul providing massive value. And what would it look like when you really know how to set up your business correctly with the steps to follow? Brand, marketing, operations. Think, would that make a difference for you and your family? And I'll tell you, results are not typical. I'm going to walk you through my system that's changed my life, doubled my income, even when I wasn't, quote unquote, a business person. And the results were my journey and not the typical person, because anyone who attends any training might get 0 results. I have to say this because I'm not one of those marketers that I'm like, you can make $20,000 a month doing absolutely nothing and working 3 hours a day. That's just not real. And I'm happy to share with you for free exactly what's working for me and what's worked also for my students. Okay. I've been coaching for over 7 years now. And before that, I didn't tell you guys, but I worked in advertising. I'm a graphic designer. I still have a branding and creative agency. So here is a little bit more. So I'm obsessed with business. Like, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 21 years old, and I'm constantly learning, being coached, and amplifying voices by creating these events with the Yoga Expo. That's my little nugget, my little daughter over here. I've been on stages speaking to thousands of people, and this is my my world. So kind of just gave you guys the download. That's me once again. I'm also a best-selling author twice. I have 2 books, And I've taught over 1,000 people how to grow their business. So you're not alone. When I realized the potential of retreats is when I was also really committed to being over the hustle, like the bad hustle. There's a good hustle. And we use this word again. I'm from Miami, so we use the word hustle a lot here, but I think there's a time to hustle and a time to really like get on the move. And there's also a time to like relax and enjoy the fruits of your labor. When I had a studio, I was a slave to my studio. And I realized later that I was actually high functioning depressed. So going back to leading more retreats, even though I led them with the studio, I wasn't in alignment to that business model. That's why I decided not to continue in 2018. So I went back to leading retreats, back to leading trainings, now a little bit different modalities, but there was something off, right? So if you've ever felt this way, that like you're kind of like swimming against the current, I totally feel you. Okay? And there was a lot of limiting beliefs, and you might be sharing this too, like, oh, I'm not ready. I remember when I led my first 200-hour training with my back then business partner, I was like, oh, Michelle, I don't know. Like, I've only been teaching for 10 years. And she like, kind of did like a slap you silly moment. She's like, you know what you just said? You've been teaching for 10 years, yet you can't lead a simple 200-hour training. I was like, oh, right. I was very self-conscious because I wanted to really be that like, super person. But I was stressed and I was burnt out. So I had to figure out a better way. Okay. This is one of my clients, Zoe. She was an acro yoga teacher. She was one of my first retreat clients. She was 23 when she led her first retreat. She had already been in the wellness industry for a few years, and she led her first retreat to an island in the middle of the South Pacific called Vanuatu. And ever since then, she's been leading retreats and trainings like no other. Like, so proud of her. But here's what we're going to cover if the slide ever shows up. Oh, there we go. Why retreats are part of your six-figure business as a transformational expert. Why the retreat experience will create a ripple effect into lifetime customers. Your mindset around taking action and leading fearlessly. Why the location can make a huge impact on your profit. Creating a logistical flow versus a nightmare. And budgeting and planning for retreats versus revenue. And then marketing and sales for your retreat success. All right, so 7-step system. But here's the problem. I've seen and I've spoken to people time and time again. They're like, oh, Ari, I led my first retreat and I lost money. Oh, Ari, I led my first retreat and, it was great, but, I then, there was like all these logistical problems and the transport, and I was overwhelmed. I wanted to lead a retreat, but then I didn't know where to start. Did I need to, I don't have my brand in alignment. Right? These are all the things that I've heard over the years, and they're valid. They're very valid, right? And the simple solution is understanding the order of things. It's understanding your positioning, your connection, and your potential. So positioning is your branding. Okay. And you don't need a fancy website. You need a simple website, but you need brand positioning and you need a unique sales proposition, USP. So if you have not worked on your brand, this is something I love to do with my clients, but it is pivotal so that you're sharing the right message and you're creating a niche so that when you launch your retreat, right, you name it correctly, you have your like level 10 client ready to say yes. For example, I'm leading a business retreat here in Florida in May of it's really like a weekend retreat. And the minute I announced it, I had 2 people register. And it's because I've positioned myself as a leader and I've positioned my branding to be a trusted source of information. Okay. So have you been doing this? So why retreats are part of your 6-figure business model as a transformational expert? So first of all, business is math. So we can't pretend to lead and be profitable without understanding our numbers. And funny enough, like I'm a super creative, right? I went to art school. So I've always hated numbers until I realized that the numbers were my best friends, as they should be yours. Understanding your costs, understanding your liabilities, understanding, right, the revenue potential, so that you can have the clear vision and create the correct container to achieve your goals. So these have been some of my retreats. Top right hand, Bali. I think it was like 20 something of us. Left was Thailand. Again, 20 something of us. Bottom right, Nicaragua. It looks like it's just me, but we had about 15 people at that retreat. And not only that, I got engaged at that retreat. So one thing I didn't say is that retreats create memories that last a lifetime, not just for you, for others. And this bottom left one, this is 2008, right? We didn't have smartphones like we do now. So I don't have a lot of pictures, but that was my first retreat in Puerto Rico. So what's your vision? I just want to drop this for a second. And if you want to put it in the chat as an affirmation, what is your vision for leading retreats? What's your desire? What is your driving force, your North Star? I would love to know. If you want to drop it in the chat, even if it's 3 or 4 words, travel the world, help people, however, I would love to see that. Okay. And as you guys drop things in the chat, I also know that you're alive. All right. So I told you guys I got certified in about 2005. My first retreat was 2008. It's 3 years later. Okay. I didn't have it all together. So this is one of my mottos. And I believe one of my clients is here, Chelsea. Yeah, there she is. Imperfect action. Just do the thing. Just do the thing. Be sloppy, be messy, do the thing. What would it look like? What would failure look like? That you lose money? Money always comes back, right? We can all make money. I'm a firm believer. Like, we live in, if you're in Canada, United States, both countries, you can add an extra class to your schedule, but you're going to have the experience. And those notches on your belt are worth millions. So first retreat, super scrappy. It was camping. We had, a lot of logistics, of course. Like, it was awesome, actually. And me and my best friend Laura led it. And we cooked. We did all the things. We had 28 people or 25 people. Right? So I just started. It was like, hey, let's do a retreat. Go, let's go. Don't second guess yourself. Don't overthink it. Maybe your first retreat isn't going to be, to some remote part of the world. Maybe it's a local retreat. Maybe it's a one-day retreat, right? But you can do this too. I'm a big cheerleader because your mindset is everything. Mindset and confidence. I should add that in there, okay? Again, have the bigger vision. What is level version 2.0 of you? Right? What does that look like? Because I'll tell you right now, and this is just plain business advice. If your business model is not in alignment to your soul, things will break. Okay? Hear me out with that. When Ari, aka me, owned a yoga studio, the business model was not aligned to my soul. Thus, I broke. So if leadership, connection, potentially traveling, being in charge of things is not something you're excited about, retreats might not be the thing for you. But you need to have that bigger version 2.0 of who you are, because we're all at one level. Like, if you met me 12 years ago, I was me. But now I'm like Ari version 5.0. I've been growing and evolving year after year after year because of the investment into time, knowledge, and people. Okay? So you have to know you're totally qualified for this endeavor. I don't know you. You know you. Right? And you want to allow yourself to stand out as a leader. Like, let's talk social media for a moment, right? Visibility. Like, I went live today on 3 platforms. Not only that, but like, how can you be a leader? How can an offering tree reach out to you and be like, hey, can you present for us? I know, again, Chelsea is here, my client. She's been getting speaking engagements. She's like, oh, I just got another speaking engagement, Ari. I'm like, yes. And we've been working on this, right? So allow yourself to stand out as a leader. Ask the hard questions. Ask with the potential that you're going to get a no. Okay. And hold space and guide others without fear. Because you're here for a reason, right? To serve and shine. Trust the process. And again, know that you're not alone. There's how many of us here, right? We had over 300 people register for this webinar. You're not alone. What are patterns and stories that you tell yourself that don't serve you? Right? These things, you little by little, you start chipping away at them so that we start getting the results that we want. Okay. And now let's get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty stuff. So know your options. A lot of people consider retreats like, oh, and a lot of the retreats that I've led are like this. Let's go to Guatemala, because I've led retreats in Guatemala, Ecuador, Mexico, Peru, Europe, Germany, twice, Holland. Where else? I've never led one in the United States. But I've led retreats out at Bali, Thailand, right? I've led retreats everywhere. And most of them were like, let's go do some yoga. Let's have adventure, because my retreats are always pretty adventurous. But like, what if you did a VIP style retreat for 2 to 3 people? What if you did that, again, typical R&R retreat, a skill up leveling retreat, a training, an immersion like I'm doing in May, right? An immersive retreat. So a little different. Skill up leveling means that you're going to walk away with a new skill set. Immersion might be like like more of a transformational retreat. Maybe it's like a leadership and self-love retreat, but it's immersive. You're there to do more work versus go on hikes and zip lines and beach time. Okay. Non-residential. My retreat in May is non-residential. Mini retreat. What if you did a weekend? Maybe that's how you dip your toe. So there's lots of options. Okay? But if you don't know, you don't know. Again, you can make thousands of dollars with a handful of people. Let's say that your first retreat, right? Let's paint a picture. Your first retreat, you got 6 people, but your profit per person was, let's be on the like normal level, about $600 to $700 per person. That's $4,000 profit, right? You're making $600 per person. Would that be worth it for you? I mean, I would say yes for me. I'm not here to pretend that, I wouldn't take a $4,000 profit being, 5 days in Costa Rica. I'll take it. Okay. So one simple retreat can potentially bring in at least $1,500. Let's say you did 10 people at $200 with, again, minimal cost, because this is a big part of the deal, right? You can, for example, the retreat I just led in October, women leadership retreat, had high costs. So I sacrificed a little bit of my profit because I wanted to make it reasonable. And, all my clients always get discounts for my retreats. So sometimes like there's a little give and take, but the place was expensive, but it was luxury. And I was like, oh, let me do my first luxury retreat. Okay. So 10 people at 200, you can do 10 people at 1,000, 5 people at 2,000 for 5 days. Like, these are just some scenarios, simple math. Okay. Creating the ideal retreat that aligns with your business goals and gets you closer to your dream lifestyle. Attract the right people and the right style. Look, it doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you do. I talked about this 2 minutes ago. If you don't apply something, it's wasted knowledge. Action is, critical for success. Because the most successful people often aren't any smarter or more talented. They just actually do the things everyone else just talks about doing. And Gosh, this is so true. I would screenshot this, save it, write it down, tattoo it on your forearm, whatever you want to do. Okay. But this is truth. Okay. So we're going to go over two of the main types of retreats today, certification style retreats, because I talked about a lot of them and we don't have time to get into all of them. And then the recreational. So this is Leah. She's awesome. Leah Kinsella. She started leading weekend meditation trainings. Okay. So retreat trainings. Okay. I'm still going to consider these retreats because she led them in her home. She has a beautiful home. And she made more than what she makes in a month teaching like weekly classes. And now she's hosting her second one. So she says, thanks, Ari, for pushing me to lead. Right? Like, why not? I gave her this idea. I was like, do a like mini retreat. She fed people. She created this beautiful container. She kept it simple, right? Kiss. I'm all about the kiss. Okay? So you don't have to go crazy. What kind of a certification? And when I say certification, you don't need to give, like, you don't need to have, like, it's a piece of paper at the end of the day. So a certificate of completion. You don't have to be like, it doesn't have to be a proper like teacher training. Okay. I want a certificate of completion. What would that look like? All right. So, but in order for us to do this, we need to identify our ideal clients. So let me stop sharing for a second. I like to do this on and off. So ideal clients, there's two types of ways to identify that ideal client. And most of you have heard of your ICA, right? Ideal client avatar. So ideal client avatar 1, for example, could be a woman, yoga teacher in her 40s and 50s. We add a lot of demographic style things to her, some psychographic, right? But it's not one person. ICA number 2 is what we call the worldview method. Worldview is that they share a common problem or desire. So it could be a man in his 40s, a woman in her 30s, a mom, stay-at-home mom, or a busy professional. But they have a common problem or desire. In the case of Leah's meditation training, their desire was to deepen their meditation and like know the different ways that they can meditate and share the practice. Do you see that? So the messaging, right? The messaging around the landing page, the social media, the addressing like content, problem-aware content and product-aware content were very specific so that we spoke to those desires. Because at the end of the day, for example, in my business, I have an ICA that's more of this type of ICA, which I still address problems. But if you guys come ever into my coaching groups, and again, Chelsea, I keep picking on you, but like, it's a lot of ladies like us, right? We're close to the same age, like in between early 40s, mid 50s. We've had like some like late 30s in there. But at the end of the day, we're all similar professions, right? Share the same values, right? Look, I love how you look beautiful today, by the way. Okay. So, but I want you to understand both of these so that you can, right, be like, oh, but like, what if a guy wants to join my thing? That's totally fine. Then focus on that ICA number 2, where you're doing more problem and desire marketing. Okay. All right, let's continue. Wait, hold on. Where's my screen? There you are. So what are their challenges? Here's a quote that it's not in here, and I'll probably butcher it because I'm not good at quoting things. But basically, you want to get into the conversations that your clients are having in their head. This is the key. Like, what are they saying? What are they thinking? What are they, writing down in their journal? That's who you want to talk to. Those are the words you want to use. So challenges, goals, What's their communication style, right? Like talking about social platforms. Are they Instagrammers? Are they Facebookers? Are they TikTokers? Okay. How much money do they have? I mean, we obviously don't know, right? It's an assumption, but like how much money do you want them to have? For example, let's say you're leading a super luxury retreat in Ibiza, okay, in Spain, and the retreat costs $30,000. These exists. You're not going to, promote this on social media, being like, hey, without having any followers that match that demographic. So again, let me stop sharing. Coaching moment or like quiz moment. Let's say you were wanting to run a $30,000 retreat, because why the heck not, right? Like, let's put it out there into the universe. What do you think would be like your top 3 things to do? You could even unmute yourselves here. Who has an idea? Come on, come on. Those who take fast action are usually more successful. I see Desiree touching the mute button. There you go.
We want to go to an amazing place.
Okay, but let's say marketing.
Okay,
so
sorry.
you're running
Okay.
this $30,000. That's your retreat. How do you fill this retreat? What would be your top 3 activities that you think you could do? Think like a marketer.
A one-of-a-kind experience, something that their friends don't necessarily have.
Okay. I see. Send an email to create your target audience. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Desiree. I didn't mean to cut you off.
A day trip, some kind of day trip that would make a memory that would last forever, that would be transformational somehow in their heart.
Okay. So is that how you would fill it? Or is that your marketing message?
That would probably be a marketing message.
Okay. So here's how I would fill a $30,000 retreat. First, I would find every single luxury, like let's say here I'm in Miami. I would go to all the concierges of all the top 5-star hotels and just connect with them. I would go to events where the wealthy people hang out in. So I would look on, right, maybe luxury real estate. Right now, in Miami, there's apartments selling for $20 million. I would go to open houses of that. I would shake hands, make friends. I would look for luxury magazines and connect with them and see if there's any way that I could get on their, maybe pay for some advertising in their, even if it's digital, maybe it's an email inclusion. Country clubs. Exactly. You need to be where the rich people are. I would go and follow the wealthy people on Instagram. I would try to get into their circles. A post and an email, if you don't have a list or an audience of those people, is not going to fill your retreat. So remember when I said, what's their communication style? So if I'm doing, 30K programs, let's say, the retreat to Ibiza, and then it's a very high touch. For example, I've had, she's no longer my client, she's my friend, but a Russian oligarch who would pay me $500 an hour to go do yoga in her yacht. I would be like, hey, Tatiana, I'm running this retreat. Do you have any friends that would be interested? And I would make everything be so white glove, right? Because that's what the people who are going to pay 30K to spend 5 days with you want. That's what they're used to. Do you understand? So thinking like a marketer means what are the habits? What are the places? Where are these people that I want in my retreat? Okay, amazing. So that was a quiz moment. All right, let me go back to this. Okay. And then what makes them happy, right? What's the languaging that you're using? Talk to your people and get to know their needs, market research and surveys. Also, let's talk about your specialty. What's going to make you stand out from one retreat in Costa Rica to another retreat in Costa Rica? If I was searching the web, why would I find your retreat more attractive? So think of the name, the theme, what else? The accommodations. What are the goals for the experience? And how are you communicating this, right? Because marketing is visibility so that we can get sales. And also, like, think what would be a win for you. I like to remind people of that, right? Like, what is a win? So when we're marketing, forget the hows, focus on benefits, results, transformations, their like picture. Okay? This is another one of my clients that her first training, she did a retreat style training. She had 14 people, $2,500 each. She said she was so scared, but she did it anyways. And it was the most memorable experience. She said, thanks to Ari, I was able to stay focused, and she coached me the entire way. She's like, oh, and did I mention I brought home $18,000 over 4 months? Okay. So step number 3, the perfect retreat formula: location, alignment, and price equals profits. I like funny memes. If you guys go to my Instagram account, I throw them all over the place. But pricing your retreat all stems from the desired end result. Sales is all about communicating that message. So it's a heck yes. So the first thing you're going to want to look at is finding a retreat or wellness center that is flexible and willing to work with you. Think cancellation policies, any profit share, extra perks and goodies for you. For example, the retreat that I led in Mexico in October, they had a profit share system. So on top of the money that I made from the retreat, they gave me back 10% of their booking. So I got a $2,000 check in the mail 4 weeks later. That was really nice. Okay. Retreat centers, and I do this workshop at my yoga expo all the time, and I lead it with my friend Courtney, who works in the hospitality industry. Retreat centers want your business. They want you, but you have to be, and I'm, pardon my French, you need to have the balls to ask for extra stuff. Like, be like, hey, retreat center X, I'm looking to do a room block, right, for this center. And, you know, these are almost like my demands. But if you don't ask, they're going to take as much of their, right, the control. And some places might not be flexible, and ask yourself, is that the place that I want to lead my retreat in? There's hundreds of retreat centers. Find the one that works for you. If this is your first retreat and you're unsure that you're going to fill it, don't align yourself with a location that has very strict policies. That might not work out for you. That's how people lose money. Okay. And again, it's that aspect of leadership. It's knowing, right, what to ask for, and knowing what you can get away with almost. Right? I literally just said that. So negotiation is leverage. The right pricing is what makes you money. Start by doubling. Like, whatever your cost is, let's say your cost is $1,000, charge 2. And I'll say this ad nauseum. When you price yourself low, you can't incentivize people with discounts. So if you go high and you give somebody a $250 discount to get the sale, you're not cutting in massively into break even, right? You're still profitable. So, you know, these were some ideas, right? 7-day luxury retreat to Thailand, $9,500 in profit. The retreat only cost $2,750 per person. The place was awesome. And this was back in the day. I'd probably charge more now, but it was cheap. Like, Southeast Asia is pretty inexpensive. 7-day retreat to Bali. It was 3 of us. So we split a $15,000 profit. I also got to stay in Bali for like 10 days after the retreat. And we only charged $2,300 per person. So it paid for, like, retreats in theory, if you're wanting to do more travel style retreats, it'll pay for your, you know, for your vacation. You can go there before, you're going to have a great time. Like, they're awesome. And then I did a 5-day immersion in New York, non-residential, walked out with $7,000. It was $14,000 for profit in total for me and another teacher. Okay. So people buy what they want. So make sure to give it to them, right? At the end of the day, like, please, I'm going to stop sharing again. Who here has bought something? Non-residential retreat is where they don't stay. Like for example, my retreat in Miami, I'm doing it at a location. People can stay in their own Airbnbs. I'm not providing location. I'm just providing information and training. But let me go back to this. How many of you here have bought something that you couldn't afford, but you really wanted it? Raise your hands. I can see you. Okay, right? Thank you. Thank you, Desiree. Like, let's be real. People do it all the time. You're like, oh, this is a little bit out of my budget, but man, I really want it. It makes me feel really good. Think like a salesperson, and sales is beautiful, right? Because what we do, we're not selling like crap, right? We're not doing snake oil. We're selling like powerful work. So if somebody has to push their budget a little bit to attend a powerful thing, knowing fully that maybe that experience is going to make them catapult in their, wellness and mindset and confidence and all the things, like let them go a little bit over budget, but make it easy for people to pay. Payment plans, right? Flexible, sales is basically the journey to the yes. Like today, I'm doing my work to get a journey to the yes. Whether you join me on my course this time or maybe in 3 years, I'm building a relationship with you. I'm building trust. Some of you are like, I don't know if we'd like Ari. She's, this crazy Miami girl. And some of you guys are like, oh my God, I love how she does. And that's what we get to do. Some people are going to love you. And some people are being like, that's not for me. And that's okay. There's so much abundance. So much abundance. Okay. So let's go back. I talk a lot. I have a lot of information. So excuse me if we go over a few minutes, but I'm okay with that. All right. So ideally you attract your ideal customers by crafting the perfect retreat experience that speaks directly to their wants and desires, right? This is marketing. Your messaging and promise makes people raise their hands, getting yeses. Yes, yes, yes. The more yeses you can get, the closer you are to your goals. Profit. Create a marketing flow that helps you be seen. All right, so it's visibility, conversions, and sales. Those are the 3 things you focus on: visibility, conversion, and sales. So from interested to committed. And then we can talk about, we can't go really into strategy, but how are you starting conversations with people on social media? Are you getting into DMs? Are you asking questions? Are you, touching people on the shoulder in your class? Are you announcing things in a way that you're confident with? So for example, I would screenshot this as well. First of all, you want 5 to 6, if not year timelines for your retreats. You need to launch a website event, design the theme and look and feel for the retreat. All this you can do on your existing website, or you can use Offering Tree. Share the event via Facebook, Instagram, add photos, videos that answer the questions and objections. Do an info session or webinar. I always do this for my retreats. I always lead info sessions where I can talk to people. And guess what? The people that register for those info sessions usually tend to come to the retreats. Okay. So now you have a sales process, pipelines, weekly, promote with nurture emails, social media, and maybe ads. And if you're like, ads, I don't know how to do an ad. Well, you either learn, you can hire somebody. In my my coaching programs, I have an ad specialist that does coaching. So ads work, guys. And then 4 weeks before, get people to commit, because people are last minute sallies. It's so annoying because you're like you want those yeses, but at the end of the day, people have to budget, plan, check for things. Okay, but I would email people personally. Again, go for that extra personalized touch. So we've covered. Let's think. Okay. Why retreats are part of your 6-figure business, why the retreat experience will create a ripple effect, the mindset, taking action and leading, the location, logistical flows. We didn't really get too much into that, but that's okay, because again, we could be here for 3 hours. Budgeting and planning, and marketing and sales. Okay. These are the main things. And honestly, logistical, that, like once you start getting people in the door, you could just really focus on that. Like what time things start, when do we eat? But that's second nature or a second level of importance. For me, it's like, know your numbers, get people in the door, get people committed, market the crap out of your retreat with like love, fun, enthusiasm, right? Name the retreat correctly, get that hook. Make people want to be in your activities. Take them to the places they want to go. Survey. Like one of my retreats that I filled the fastest was Bali, because I did a post on Facebook and I said, hey guys, I'm thinking of leading a retreat. And this is Facebook, right? Where I have a lot of audience. And I said, where do you want to go? Costa Rica, Bali, or Mexico? Most people put Bali. So the people who wrote Bali, I created, because one of my things is like sell it first, build it later. I reached out to them. I gave them, I'm like, oh, you want to come to Bali? It's going to be January, whatever, 2019, I think it was, or 2018. Here's the $250 deposit. And I started getting deposits to the people who wrote, I want to go to Bali. I want to go to Bali, right? So very, very simple. And here's a quote that I love. Commitment means staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. Meaning you're here today and you're like, oh my God, I want to run a retreat. I'm so excited, right? Retreat, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then you're like, oh crap, here I go. What do I do? Ari said to market this. Ari said to talk to people in the DMs. How do I talk to people in the DMs? How do I survey people? Okay. So just start talking to people, right? Get some feelers out there. Okay. And look, I'm not sure why you showed up today, obviously because you're interested in retreats. But maybe you're more frustrated in how your business is moving. Like there's more to how you can grow. Maybe you've been seeing retreats be the rage and wondered how this can work for you. Maybe you also just really like me. You saw my picture and you're like, yeah, I want to learn from that girl. But for the most part, right? Like probably something called you to this presentation today. And I'll tell you, this can be you, right? This was Mexico. That was Thailand again. And this was, two Mexicos. I've led retreats to Mexico several times. And the one on the bottom, I hired as a surprise, a photographer, and the women left with like the most beautiful pictures. But I would love for you to be my next success story. I would love to feature you as having, right, these retreats like really rock for you, because they can transform your entire business and life. And I truly believe that if you've been on this call up to this point, you have what it takes to excel. And this is something you can get started with right now. Because if there's one takeaway, like I've cracked the code to traveling, impacting, and making money. I've been doing it for almost 20 years. And it's very much a replicable system you can apply. So the question is, how can you apply this system for leveraging the power of and profiting from retreats? Because you have a choice, right? You can do it the slow way through trial and error, which works. And taking some of what I've given you here today, like doubling the price, like speaking to your ideal client, or you can also do it quickly using my retreats program. So Lead Profitable Retreats, it's all about making money and having fun, all while helping your clients transform. Right. So if it's okay with you, right before we go into Q&A, I just want to present this to you in a way that if you decide to take action today, I have some extra gifts and bonuses, and we'll be sharing the link with you as well in the chat. But it's my complete step-by-step system to building and maximizing program. And it's designed to take you by the hand to lead fulfilling and profitable retreats. No missing steps, no confusion. It's the quickest and most effective way to get from dream to launch. And I'll go a little bit into what we cover. Your why and your what, mindset and leadership, choosing the right client. So we go a lot deeper into the client avatar, ninja strategies for perfect experiences, the big picture marketing models and systems. It's creating the retreat, marketing and strategic tools, the art of logistics, tools to set up the retreat, then deeper into the organization, the wheres and whens, details that make it or break it, We talk about naming in there. I give you some worksheets, packages and pricing, right? How to sell it. I teach you how to sell high ticket, which is a skill that you can use forever and ever, and launching. So I take you through my Launch Lab Accelerator. Okay. And basically what's going to happen is that the courses and coaching give you the tools and framing behind the whole process and what we get to do every step of the way, right? You don't do it alone because you can do it wrong and lose money, which nobody wants that, but you can do it right and you can make your retreats and trainings be your best friends. Because making your retreats be one way to maximize your career while offering transformation is a great way to show what you do best. Okay. Well, we have a lot of messages. So basically inside the retreat, I give you a bunch of stuff. So you get the course valued at $2,000. I also give you contracts, waivers, privacy policies, and terms. Okay. So that you have like at least a foundation for like a framework for your legal stuff. I'm not a lawyer, but it's at least a framework. Marketing emails. So professionally written emails. Okay. And then you just have to plug and play. So if email marketing has been a thing for you, this will take out the guesswork. You also get all my years of experience, of course. Then you also get 1 month group coaching. You get to be part of my Evolve Digital CEO program. We do 3 times a week coaching. So it's very high touch, very detailed, real-time feedback. So it's about 40 coaching calls in a month. This is Jessica. Her ideal clients were high-end entrepreneurial CEOs, not even entrepreneurs. I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong. Like CFOs and CEOs of corporate, men. So she did mindfulness and yoga, and now she's been leading them over and over, and the companies pay her a lot of money to lead these. Okay. You also get my retreats roadmap. This in itself is gold because if you see down here, it has intake forms, your retreat revenue planner, your retreat checklist for marketing, your scheduler. We do a P&L, expense reports. So you get to know your numbers from the beginning. You get sales funnels. So I give you different designs that you can apply to whatever software you're using. So you know exactly how to make sales pages that convert. Okay. And again, you can use this beyond just a retreat. And then bonuses, like I said, as an incentive for those of you wanting to join, you get a one-on-one call with me. And usually those are $500. So you get that complimentary as part of your program. Then you get the Selling with Soul workshop. Learn how to sell high ticket programs. So $3,000, $5,000, $12,000 programs. I give you scripts and templates and audio trainings. So it's helped clients bring in over $500,000 in sales over the years. This is Amy. She's come to 2 of my retreats. Now she's leading retreats. My retreats literally changed her life. It was really powerful. So basically the whole value of everything is about $13,000. And look, if all this did, right, the program and coaching was help you create high-end offers, have more freedom, memorable experiences, explore you as the leader, right? Would it be worth it? And obviously, I'm not charging you $13,000. So the retreat, let me just skip this. That's another testimonial. But here it is, okay? So everything you're getting. So today's, so even these aren't the prices because we're using, I'm giving you guys 15% off for Offering Tree because they're amazing partners. So I want this to work for you. And the code will be valid for 1 week only, okay? So it's either $12.97 one payment. Again, you apply the Offering Tree. Sinead, if you can drop the link. 4 easy payments of $357 or 12 easy payments of $127 a month. So I've made it really easy for you. And then you would get, like I said, a month of my coaching group plus a one-on-one call. So it's not just a like, here's a program, good luck. I get to like follow up with you. You get to be part of my world and I get to see you thrive. Okay? So if you're ready, all right, to lead these kinds of retreats, I would love for you to join us. And I don't think we have the link to the program, so I'm going to drop it in here for you in a minute. But I want to jump into Q&A, even if it's Q&A about some of the stuff that I've covered. And oh, there's the link. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to just drop it here. Anybody have questions?
So we had a question earlier on. Let me just see if I can find it. Well, actually, Melina asked a question. I'm not sure if Melina is still here or if she had to leave, but what if you do market research and you find that in your category of retreats, the price is set in a certain area? Will it scare people off to price it higher?
So that's a really interesting question. And do you guys buy something because it's the cheapest? I mean, I don't. I'm not like, oh, let me see what's the cheapest thing out there. I'm usually like, oh, what's the best thing out there? And how can I get the best thing for the best price? Right? That's my way of thinking of things. Let's say, if retreats are pricing out at, I don't know, I'm just going to throw an easy number, at $1,000 for the experience, and you want to go at $1,250. Well, what if you did a incentive, like they got a private class with you? Or what if they got access, like for example, how I just showed you guys, you get access to a free month of my program. That's a value add. So if we focus on adding value, then the price almost becomes negligible, that little price increase, right? So be creative. Like, do you have workbooks sitting there? Can you give them an online course? Because one thing I didn't cover, but I'll talk about it briefly, is that you can ideally make retreats either part of like a bigger high ticket offer, like I do, right? Like my coaching programs start $6,500 to $13,000 for the year, but I give them 2 retreats, so they don't have to pay for those. Or you could say, well, come to this retreat and then you get access to my, I don't know, let's say you're a yoga therapist, say you get access to 2 months worth of classes for free. So ideally the retreat is either a launch pad to more of your work. And this is why, like, we want to have an offer suite. I like to work on really medium and high ticket offers or program creation, because that's where you're going to get to 6 figures with, a smaller audience. And honestly, like, I'd rather sell 5 things than 50. It's the same work, same amount of emails, same amount of effort, same amount of reels, same amount of everything. So price yourself so that a 5 is a win, instead of being like, oh my God, I need to sell 50 units to achieve my monthly revenue. Right? If that makes sense. Did that make sense for you guys? Yeah. Okay. Let me see what else. And you guys can unmute yourselves. Did you lead retreats without social media? Cher, where are you, Cher? Maybe she's not here anymore. There she is. Cher, I started leading retreats in 2008. I think we had MySpace. And if not, Facebook was like at its infancy. I started leading retreats with flyers, with word of mouth, with actually talking to people. People also would find my retreats. Like, I remember my retreat in Nicaragua. We got like 6 people that found the retreat on Facebook because I made a Facebook event. So would I say now, don't use use social media, guys, like use every tool, use it, whatever is like available to you. Like, why wouldn't you? So if you're like, well, I don't want to use social media, it's a marketing tool for business. Like, whatever, I know people have like issues with Facebook or TikTok. And again, Chelsea is here, so I get to pick on you. But like, Chelsea was like, social media. Girl, now she's like rocking social media because she has a different approach to it. Right? Like it was like a mindset shift. And little by little, like we are optimizing and growing. And really, social media to me is nothing at the end of the day if I don't take people into my email list and into conversations, because it's just vanity metrics. So that was a great question. Any other questions?
As well, Arianne,
yeah. Yeah.
When you talked about the info sessions, and somebody put earlier in the chat as well, as a marketing tool to personally message people, I think that giving people that space to connect with you and ask those questions is really valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a book that you should all read if you are business owners. It's called The E-Myth. I can't remember his name. I have it in my other bookshelf over there. But he says that there is nothing like, if you're in person, like touch somebody in the elbow. Like that already, just making that like physical connection with somebody is a much higher likelihood of you closing a sale.
Wow.
So like, what would it look like if you messaged somebody? What if you look like if you voice noted somebody? Like I love to voice note my new followers. I'll be like, oh, hey, I don't know everybody's names. They're like, hey, Solange, thanks for connecting with me on Instagram. Tell me, like, what are you working on in your business now that I could support you? I have tons of free trainings. Like, that's not a sales pitch. That's a connection. So this person here, the biggest introvert in the world. I know it doesn't look like it because I'm here being all like, do, right? But you put me in a room with networking and I want to go like this and hide. I hate networking. I'm terrible at it, but I've gotten better. And I know that it's such a powerful tool. So social media to me is networking. It's not just sharing a bunch of free information, right? What else? I think there are some other questions above.
This is great. There was one question that Alexandria asked earlier in terms of how soon prior to a retreat, how far in advance should you start promoting?
Look, I'm going to say 6 to 8 months is a good average. Like this retreat that I'm doing in Miami in May, I put it together 2 weeks ago and it's in 2 months and I'm taking a chance because I'm like, whatever, you know what? Like if I break even, I really want it for footage also because I want to be leading more of these. So again, what's your goal? And I think I'm already going to be profitable in it with just a few people. So, and I also, because it's part of my bigger coaching program, like to me, that's, again, like every retreat has a purpose. You see what I mean? So we have to be really clear on what the goals are of that event. Like, yes, being monetarily profitable is great, but remember I talked about the other profit pockets. So this retreat in May, even if I make $200 profit after food, blah, 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 right? What's going to happen is that I'm going to have footage. I'm going to be able to use that for my next retreat, which is going to be then more expensive because I'm going to have a lot more marketing material. I'll be able to test. Like I've built a pretty robust curriculum. I want to see if I can get through it. Do I need an assistant? Like it's going to be a test. So me breaking even and like spending a weekend for testing and optimization is to me priceless. Right? Because I know I could potentially charge like $2,000 for those kinds of retreats. And I'm charging like $600 right now just to get like easy yeses. Okay. So that was a great question. And I love all the things that you guys are sharing, like earlier. Who else? I mean, you guys are here live, like use me, use my brain. How much retreat have you done before? Research have I done? Okay, great. I don't care about other retreats that might be held at the same time. What I know is, like, don't do a retreat like right when school starts. Like as a mom, if somebody invited me to a retreat, those first couple of months, like August, September, I'm going to be like, yeah, right. Good luck. Because I just spent a bunch of money, maybe like on tuition, uniforms, or just getting a schedule. So I like to put together my retreats. Like my biggest retreats have been around New Year's. people are already on a trend of vacation, of getting away. Then summer is also a really good one. And then you also have to see like, okay, destination. So Costa Rica in summer, yeah, January is a great time for retreats. Like Costa Rica in July, I did not look at the weather. It rained almost every day. It didn't matter. We still had like 22 people, but we spent a lot of time in the Palapa, right? Like, but the rain was magical because we were able to do yoga nidras and you would hear the rain and it was like so quiet. But like if people were going for beach time, there was less beach time, right? But we did like the coolest hike to a waterfall through mud, and that was an experience of a lifetime. It was like Woodstock. We all came out black. It was so fun, right? So we did it anyways. But now, next retreat to Costa Rica, I'll do in like August, less rain. Yeah, so that was a good question. Anything else,
Cool.
everyone?
Thank you so much, Sherry. Thanks for your time
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
to connect this to Offering Tree and how we support retreats and why we were so excited to get you in to do this is in the Offering Tree website. So you can build like a never-ending amount of landing pages that can be a retreat or a workshop or a yoga teacher training, whatever you need to be in there. And you can build in your automations and you can build in your payment plan, because that's a huge part of how early that you promote it as well, right? Having that payment plan in place so they can pay it off incrementally can be really important. So we're really, really grateful for you coming here today, Ari, and for everybody who is here live on the call. Thanks for being here. Thanks for rolling with us as we sorted all this out. We appreciate you. We're going to send out the replay email shortly with all of the links that we shared, so you'll be able to get your discounts. And if you've got any questions, you can reply to that email that we send out to you. But yeah, thank you everybody for being here.
Yes, thank you, of course. And I hope to see you guys inside one of my programs at some point. Bye.